A senior Iranian official says Israel used supernatural warfare during the 12-day conflict. Claims of jinn, talismans, and occult tactics have sparked mockery and concern. Mossad fired back with sarcasm, calling it delusion, not strategy. Is this myth-making or messaging with a purpose? A senior Iranian official has reignited debate over the intersection of politics and mysticism, claiming that Israel resorted to supernatural tactics during the recent 12-day conflict with Iran. Abdollah Ganji, the former editor of the IRGC-linked newspaper Javan, published the allegation to his 150,000 followers on X, saying a strange phenomenon took place in Tehran shortly after the war.
A strange phenomenon. After the recent war, a few sheets of paper were found on the streets of Tehran containing talismans with Jewish symbols. In the first year of the Gaza war, news had also leaked about Netanyahu meeting with occult specialists. A few years ago, the supreme leader had stated that hostile countries and Western and Hebrew intelligence services use occult sciences and jinn entities for espionage.
According to Ganji, several sheets of paper bearing Jewish talismanic symbols were found scattered across the streets of Tehran. He implied the documents were not random debris, but a sign of something more calculated. Referring to similar rumors during the Gaza war, Ganji revived unsubstantiated reports that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu once met with occult specialists to gain an edge in conflict. Ganji's claims mirror previous remarks made by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who has long accused Israeli and Western intelligence services of employing occult sciences and jinn, supernatural entities in Islamic belief, for espionage. In Iran's religious political lexicon, such figures are not merely folklore. They often appear in rhetoric to explain strategic surprises or technological advantages achieved by adversaries. In Islamic tradition, jinn are invisible beings made of smokeless fire, capable of good and evil, and responsible for their moral choices. Their invocation in political discourse underscores a broader ideological framework where Iran views itself as resisting not just geopolitical pressure, but metaphysical threats as well. In this context, Ganji's message is not fringe or fantastical. It is part of a wider pattern of embedding spiritual themes into political storytelling, particularly during moments of national tension or vulnerability. The intent is twofold: to dramatize the stakes of the conflict and to reinforce the perception that Iran faces forces beyond just the material. Israel's official response to the supernatural accusation was swift and unapologetically sarcastic. Rather than engaging through traditional diplomatic channels, Israel turned to social media, deploying ridicule to counter the narrative. Mossad's official Farsi language X account posted a short message.
Consuming drugs and conversing with spirits are not desirable traits for someone leading a country.
The comment was quickly amplified by Israeli officials and allies. Walid Gadban, political advisor to Israel's mission at the United Nations, reposted the Mossad remark, captioning it in Farsi, "Jinn are everywhere," followed by a ghost emoji. The dismissive tone spoke volumes. It was clear Israel had no intention of dignifying the claim with seriousness, choosing instead to mock the premise entirely. While Ganji's comments were treated with skepticism abroad, they struck a nerve within Iran. The references to talismans and jinn were not merely symbolic. They tapped into cultural beliefs about supernatural warfare and spiritual protection. For Iran's state narrative, this is a tool of psychological framing. For Israel, it's a propaganda opportunity to undercut Tehran's credibility. This exchange illustrates a different kind of battlefield, one of words, symbols, and perceptions. Social media becomes the arena for this soft conflict, where influence, ridicule, and ideology collide. And while the subject may appear eccentric to outside observers, the underlying strategy is calculated. Iran embeds spirituality into its threats. Israel uses sarcasm to strip them of seriousness. Even among Iran's own population, reactions have been mixed. Some mocked Ganji's post, while others defended the symbolism. Analysts suggest that such rhetoric is less about convincing the global community and more about reinforcing internal solidarity. It builds a psychological defense by positioning Iran as under attack not just militarily, but cosmically. The international response to Iran's recent claims of Israeli occult warfare has been muted, with global powers offering no official comment and media coverage outside the region, treating the story as a curiosity rather than a credible threat. However, within Iran, the narrative carries real political weight. By framing conflict through mystical and supernatural language, Iranian leaders tap into long-standing cultural and religious beliefs that resonate with segments of the population. Abdollah Ganji's references to jinn, talismans, and Netanyahu's alleged use of occult experts are not merely rhetorical flourishes. They form part of an ideological framework that allows the regime to shift attention away from battlefield losses or strategic failures and focus instead on moral and spiritual resistance. The supernatural claims function as a form of psychological armor, insulating the leadership from domestic criticism while reinforcing the idea that Iran's struggle is not just political or military, but cosmic. Though dismissed abroad, this narrative is effective internally. It blurs the line between faith and statecraft, recasting modern geopolitics as a battle between good and evil, seen not just through missiles and sanctions, but through symbols, spirits, and unseen forces.